We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. Welcome to July 30th, the last meeting in July already. Through 2018. My name is Kevin Cook. I serve as the chair of the Shawnee County Commission, and joining me today is Commissioner Shelley Bueller.
Good morning.
And Commissioner Bob Archer. Good morning.
Good morning.
Madam Clerk, if we could begin with our first item.
Our first item is item 2, unfinished business. Number 1, public hearing and consider approval of the vacation plat for Bender subdivision, an undeveloped 134-acre, 25-lot residential subdivision located about southwest corner of Southeast 30th Street and Southeast Woodring Road in Tennessee Township, restoring the property to agricultural use.
Barry Deagle, Shawnee County Planning Department, as requested. We made contact the applicant to ascertain their true intentions with regard to the property. They reconfirmed intent to vacate the subdivision. They have no interest in developing the property as currently platted, and that's part of the email response. It's included part of your agenda packet.
I do have one question. Perhaps it would be better if we can make a motion to open the public hearing. So at this time, I would make a motion to open a public hearing on the request of vacate.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook to open, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed. Motion passes 3-0. A question for our county councilor.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Crow, Shawnee County Councilor.
Good morning, Jim. In review of our rules and regulations regarding a subdivision and agricultural buildings, are there any requirements that they would have to, or a landowner would be required to vacate the subdivision in order to build an agricultural building or outbuildings?
To answer that question, no. There are things that can be done with this short of vacation of the subdivision. Generally, there are different rules that apply when there are agricultural buildings, and we have less ability to regulate agricultural uses.
Can you maybe explain that just a little bit for us?
Okay. You see that I'm trying not to go too far with this and argue against ourselves. But generally, there are state statutes that limit our ability when it comes to zoning and regulating agricultural uses.
Okay. Any other questions for the counselor?
No.
Okay. Commissioners, any other questions, I guess, in general? At this time, I am going to reluctantly make a motion to approve the vacation of the subdivision. I do have concerns that the subdivision as platted, this is an area that has been seeing development. It is an area of the community that could be developed into residential neighborhood at some point in the future. And I think that it's going to be increasingly more difficult, if not impossible, to recreate the subdivision, that there was no need to vacate the subdivision to build the agricultural buildings, and that, however, the landowner has requested the vacation, and without there being opposition to the vacation, it should be granted. So that is my motion to vacate.
But to close the public hearing.
The motion to close the public hearing and to approve the vacation.
I'll second that.
So, any other discussion?
No.
So motion to close the public hearing and to approve the vacation by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 3, consent agenda.
There are 3 items on the consent agenda. Are there any questions?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 4, new business A, County Clerk. Number 1, consider all voucher payments.
The vouchers are totaling $1,120,844.45. Most of that is with pooled cash and payroll, $622,629.95. We do have under sewer districts, $104,698 for lagoon cleaning for sewer districts 2 and 6. And then also Health Insurance Administration is $96,698.77. So there are no questions. I'll move approval.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move approval of the correction orders.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item B, Administrative Services. Number 1, consider approval of request to surplus the kitchen equipment from the Shawnee County Adult Detention Center.
Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. This is for the equipment in the old jail kitchen that was not able to be used in the new kitchen. They used everything that they could, but this was the equipment that was not used, so we are now ready to sell that as surplus.
Any questions regarding the request to surplus the old equipment?
I'll move approval of the request.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Bueller.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Archer. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item C, County Counselor. Number 1, consider approval of letter to the Kansas Department of Commerce supporting the Kansas Community Service tax credits for Aldersgate Village to help in incentivizing individuals and corporate donors to raise capital funds for a project called Home Plus.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Krause, Shawnee County Counselor. Admittedly, I'm not an expert on this program. This request came in, and the chair asked me to take a look at what's behind the request and whether the county had ever provided a letter of support before. And I asked the clerk's office to take a look for me, and they found that we had, back in 2011, provided a similar type of letter of support for sheltered living at that point in time for a project that they were working on. So this is part of the application program for the Kansas Community Service Tax Credit Program. They asked the applicant, the state of Kansas does, this is a state program, asked the applicant to provide local letters of support if they can for their application. So if you feel that it's a worthy project, worthy of support, then you can do that. This is a state program, not a county program.
Right. Any questions for the county counselor? I do believe that we have somebody from Aldersgate, if you would be willing to come up and just tell us just a little bit about the program. And yes, yeah, and just state your name for the clerk.
My name is Mary Loftus, and I'm here representing Aldersgate Village, and we are engaged in an effort to secure Kansas Community Service tax credits to help raise funds for Home Plus. And Aldersgate Village is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and Home Plus is an innovative housing option that we think will attract new interest in Aldersgate Village. But I think one of the compelling things about Home Plus is that it will also help subsidize Aldersgate's charitable mission, which includes indigent care for roughly 100 residents. So that's why we think this is a worthy subject of discussion for the county, and we would appreciate the county's support. And on behalf of the some 400 residents of Aldersgate Village, I would ask that you consider it favorably.
Any questions for Ms. Loftus?
No, thank you for being here this morning. Appreciate it.
Commissioner Archer, anything? No? I thank you as well, and I would make a motion then to authorize the letter to the Department of Commerce.
A second.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, motion passes 3-0. Thank you very much, Ms. Loftus.
Thank you.
Our next item.
Item C2, consider approval of change order number 3 to contract C95-2018 with Champion Builders for the East Topeka Learning Center renovation and addition project for costs related to discovery of unstable soil conditions resulting in an additional cost of $68,647 and extending project substantial completion date by 9 days.
Good morning, Commissioners. Jim Crowell again. The clerk's description sums up nicely what this request is. It is a change order. This is the East Topeka Learning Center project. The result of the change order would add an additional $68,647 to the contract and extend the substantial completion date by 9 days. I have concerns whenever we add costs to a project, and I have concerns particularly on this project whenever we add time to it due to the sensitivity of the completion date and the importance of getting that done. I've expressed those, and I will double back through with the contractor and all parties involved to make sure we do everything we can between now and that completion date to continue to try to stay on track and get this project completed on time.
And I appreciate that timeliness of the opening date being in January of 2019 for the Washburn, I guess, spring semester. And I understand that there are conditions that can arise. I understand that we're keeping a very close eye with Champion Builders. Commissioners, any questions regarding this?
Move to approve the change order.
I'll second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? The motion passes 3-0.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item.
Item D, Public Works Solid Waste. Number 1, consider approval of request to award a bid to Reese Construction Company, Inc. for the replacement of culvert on Southwest 29th Street over an unnamed tributary to Mission Creek with a new structure at a cost of $158,935.25, with funding from the Special Bridge Fund and authorization and execution of contract C-233-2018 for same.
Good morning, Commissioners. Tom Blunt of Public Works and Solid Waste. This is a Public Works item. As mentioned, we took bids to replace this bridge at Southwest 29th Street over the tributary to Mission Creek, which is essentially about a quarter mile east of West Union Road. We received 5 bids ranging from the low of $158,935.25 up to $246,709.55. And the engineer's estimate was $200,391. So we believe we got some very good bids. We have worked with Reese Construction before. They are a reputable firm. So it was our recommendation that this bid be awarded to Reese Construction for said amount. So if there's any questions, all right, also as far as the schedule is concerned, we have offered as part of our contract a flexible start date. So from the date of approval of the contract, which is if you approve it today, they have 30 days to begin construction. We think they're going to get started sooner than later, but they have 30 days to begin, and then once they begin, they have 75 calendar days to finish the job. So it will be anywhere from basically mid-October to mid-November, late November for completion, just depending on when they start. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Any questions?
No, I have none.
I'll move approval.
Second?
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0.
All right, thank you.
Our next item.
Item E, Information Technology. Number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C-234-2018 with Software House International for the Barracuda email spam filter in the amount of $2,220 with funding from the 2018 operating budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Pat O'Blainer with the Information Technology Department. This item is for the annual renewal for our spam filter. This is the appliance that is one of the layers of defense that we put into place to protect the county against people that would do us harm through the email system. It's done a very good job in the past, and we'd like to keep it on board and doing its job going forward. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Questions for Pat?
Move to approve the contract.
I'll second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Archer, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Passes 3-0. Thank you. Our next item.
Item E2, consider authorization and execution of contract C-235-2018 with Digium for SIP trunking services in the event that our primary telephone service provider, Windstream, is out of service. Charges are based on a 1.5 cent per minute of usage and a monthly fee of $2 for each direct inward dial, DID, number with E911 services, and $1 per month for each additional DID number, with expected costs rarely exceeding $50 per month, but in the event of extended outages, could reach up to $500 with funding from the information technology budget.
Commissioners, this item is a request to set up a service to have in hand in the event that our primary telecommunications circuits fail. We did have an outage on Thursday, July 19th, that lasted approximately 5 hours, which is a significantly long period of time to be without phone service. We did have in place a circuit that would have allowed us to reroute phone calls through the internet rather than through our telecommunications provider. However, it turns out that when we tried to increase the capacity of that circuit to accommodate the entire county, we ran into a snag, which would have required us to establish an additional account. So we were kind of stymied in our efforts to provide a workaround during that emergency. This item provides that established account that would provide the flexibility for us to fail over to a separate circuit arrangement that would allow some form of communication into and out of the county over our telecom circuits in the event of another large failure that would through our primary provider. As indicated, this would be a backup circuit. We would not be using it on a regular basis, and its charges are month to month and are based on utilization of 1.5 cents per minute. So as long as we're not using it, the only things that we'd be normally charged for per month would just be the direct inward dial numbers that would be assigned to us, the E911 service that would be established for that, and then any other DIDs or direct inward dial numbers that we wanted to maintain on record as the numbers that people could contact the county. So there would be some minimal monthly charges, very small amounts. There's the potential for quite a bit larger amount in the event we have to use the service, but it's basically there as a failover strategy, and the month-to-month cost would be negligible. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Pat, during the last year, I mean, this is something that happens very infrequently where the phone lines would go down, maybe 1 or 2 times a year, or?
That's correct. We've seen really good service through our existing provider, Windstream. We just ran into one of those situations where it was difficult to isolate and correct the problem over this last occurrence. So yes, it's traditionally quite reliable, but it's necessary to have something in place, and this is a relatively inexpensive way of ensuring that we do have a failover strategy.
So this item really comes out of the Thursday, the July 19th event, to where we can address what didn't work and how to make sure it does work next time.
Absolutely, yes.
Any other questions? I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion for approval by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? Motion passes 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Our next item.
Item F, Commission, number 1, consider appointment of an interim director of Public Works Solid Waste.
With the departure of Tom Vlock to the cold and unbearable temperatures of Upper Des Moines, so we would need to have an interim director of Public Works and Solid Waste. Mr. Flanagan has agreed to serve in that capacity, although he has strenuously stated, please don't make this any longer than possible. And I know that we are very capable hands with Mr. Flanagan, and I'm very grateful for his ability to and willingness to step in this interim time.
Notice he's not way, way in the back.
It would be a motion then to approve Tom Flanagan as the interim Director of Public Works and Solid Waste with the departure of Tom Vlock.
I'll second.
Commissioner Archer?
Yeah, thank you. It's deeply appreciated.
Motion made by Commissioner Cook, second by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor, say aye. All opposed? The motion passes 3-0. Our next item.
Item 5, Administrative Communications.
This is an opportunity for any department head or member of the public to address the commission on any item.
Betty Greiner, Director of Administrative Services. We have finished the budget hearings for the 2019 budget. Those have been recorded and are available for anyone to go on our website and watch. We will have our public public budget hearing this Thursday, August 2nd, at 5:30 PM here at the courthouse in the Board of County Commission chambers. We will also, our budget discussions and decisions will begin at the regular Board of County Commission meeting on Monday, August the 6th, and those will continue every Monday and Thursday until a budget has been approved.
Very good. So Thursday, August 2nd at 5:30 here in the Commission chambers.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Betty.
Any other member of the public or department head? Commissioner Archer, do you have anything to report about this last weekend?
Well, first of all, I'm starting to get many emails and calls and concerns about the Shawnee County Comprehensive Plan. I will point out that all the documentation is available on the Shawnee County homepage. So go there, take a look at it, and be ready to discuss it as we move forward in considering that. Yeah, Saturday night, we went to the Rock Concert Food Truck Festival, and it had great weather, great music, a big crowd, but I have to point out that Eric Stafford yelled at me to sit down so he could see better. Thank you, Eric. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Commissioner Bueller, anything?
I had the opportunity Saturday morning to kind of get a debrief from the Youth on Board meeting that took place on Friday, and so a lot of encouraging feedback and responses from the youth, and they're ready to get going. So I know that they had shared with me that you attended on Friday, so
Absolutely.
they're very, very encouraged and very excited to get started, so
Absolutely.
look forward.
So Friday, we did have an opportunity to sit down with youth from our community. Darrell Stewart with Parks and Recreation, Angela Lewis with the Shawnee County Human Resources was part of the county representation there. And it was very exciting to see the excitement and level of commitment from our youth that want to get involved in our community and the changes, positive changes that they want to see, and talking about how as a youth they can be involved in our community. And so sometimes it just gives you a lot of excitement about the future of our youth. Today, the Chamber of Commerce is kicking off what they call the TSC3 program. It stands for Topeka Shawnee County 3%. And it's asking all of the business owners in Shawnee County to increase your local spending by 3%. That 3%, while a very small number, would represent $200 million that stays in our local communities. So before you hop on Amazon or Google that next item, look and buy local. Madam Clerk, our next item.
Item 6, executive sessions.
There is not a need for an executive session. We are adjourned.